Can you hear that? My pores are... Let's keep this wash day as simple as possible. So how can we do that? That's me. That's me right here. Guys, what's up? It's your girl Nelia. Welcome back to my channel and back for another video. If you're new, hello, welcome, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the 3 reasons why your fine natural hair may not be growing. I can say I've cut my hair multiple times. My biggest chop was probably 5 to 6 inches. Just cut it up all the way to my ears basically, and that was due to some medication I was on that my hair just was not functioning well with, so I basically had to start over. I learned a lot growing my hair back out. I'm gonna just minimize it down to 3 reasons why your fine natural hair may not grow. Fine natural hair is very delicate. It's really prone to breakage. It's not like the other tougher textures. It's kind of amazing actually all the wrong things I was doing because I saw other naturalistas doing it and I thought that I could do that too, but absolutely not. Fine natural hair, I swear, it's its own book, its own world, its own set of rules. Context, I do have about medium density hair, so my hair may appear thick at some times, but girl, no, this hair is so fine. It can be so scalpy looking sometimes. And while I'm talking, I'm gonna be actually taking out these twists. If you saw my last video, these are those same exact twists. I have been keeping them in all week and procrastinating on taking them out for a twist out. So hopefully they're not too old and this twist out still comes out pretty nice. So one of the things I noticed that caused a lot of, plateauing in my hair growth journey with fine natural hair is number 1, just having over manipulative hairstyles. I feel like hand to hair syndrome is a real thing. I was not leaving my hair alone. I was styling it every single day, and I feel like that really causes breakage. My natural hair really thrives when we just protect it and leave it be. And that's literally one of the first easiest things I did that helped me see growth. I think overstyling is definitely a thing, but also choosing the wrong styles can also cause breakage. For example, I love a good Marley twist. I love a good spring twist, but sometimes those hair textures, that dry, brittle hair texture it's just too rough and causes too much friction on our fine natural strands, and that can also cause breakage. Now I do have a video on here describing like the different hairs I've tried for Marley twists and which one I think is really softer than most, but still, even then I have gotten so much damage keeping those in too long, and honestly keeping them in for maybe 2 weeks to 4 weeks really has to be my max, because fine natural hair, we just Marley hair and us, they just don't go together. And even mini twists, I love those on this channel. I'm a queen of a mini twist, but even that can cause breakage. Like, yes, I think I would consider it low manipulative because I don't really mess with my hair too much when they are in mini twists. But if we put them in incorrectly, or if we make them too small, it's literally gonna cause more problems than not. I think choosing one style that you like and keeping it in for a week at a time till wash day is really the way to go. For example, these chunky twists, I've had them in all week and it's the end of the week now and I'm finally taking them down, but all week they've been in a bun or in some kind of flat twist style, or they've been at the top of my head when I work out, and I think that's just kind of my thing that works for me. So really experiment with you and see what styles cause you to not have your hands in your hair every day and just leaving it be. Literally, what is a style that you can wake up and go with? Nothing that you have to touch your hair too much and do too much detangling, retwisting, and all that stuff. So I just feel like chunky twists are what really works for me. 2, I think, is a really, really, really big issue, and this is probably not even just for the fine strand girlies, but I see it a lot with my hair, so I'm speaking on it for us. Single strand knots. OMG. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. You snip and snip and snip, and there's still some more, and I've had some really bad single strand knots. And I finally actually have found a way to minimize single strand knots. I feel like they're still gonna happen because of just the nature of our hair, but I found a way to minimize them and I'm really happy with it. So one of the ways to minimize single strand knots is to do more stretch styles. I spoke about this in my last video about how a goal of mine this year is to really practice and really master stretch styles for me. And when I say stretched, I mean whether that be with the blow dryer or just stretching overnight, I feel like my hair really does thrive when it's just not in its shrunken natural state. So speaking of shrunken states, that means avoiding certain styles that allow my hair to shrink up. So I no longer can just wash my hair and do a wash and go and keep it moving. Occasionally I do a wash and go just to do a wash and go. You know, I love my hair in a wash and go. I like how it looks sometimes, but I'm not gonna make that a constant style of mine. I would do that a wash and go every single wash day and just have a wash and go all the time, but I no longer do that because I've noticed that increases my single strand knots. Just walking around with it with my fro can cause it to tangle up. Going to bed definitely in a wash and go was causing it to tangle up. All in my bonnet when it's all like stuck to your head or however you stretched it, it was still causing it to shrink and causing it to intertwine within each other and cause single strand knots. And I had to cut back on the wash and goes, and I've seen such a difference on just cutting back on wash and goes. As you can see in the blown out state, they're not intertwining with each other. They're just laying on top of each other, living their best life. So I really try to, I really want to perfect this. I think a blown out style really is helping my hair to grow and flourish. Another solution, of course, for single strand knots is to cut your hair, as in, you know, keeping up with the trims. I love a good dusting. I just did a dusting before I installed this set of medium twists for this twist out, and my ends feel amazing right now, so hopefully I can keep that up and I won't have to do any more dusting for a while. But I do like to do a lot of dusting, especially in the back of my head, because that's where the single strand knots love to thrive. And regular routine trims, I used to do them myself, but I just always felt like I was missing spots or missing sections. So now I do invest that money into getting a real like blown out trim type of style. I'm actually probably due for one soon. So I try to go at least twice a month, twice a year to get my routine trims. And that's been kind of working for me, on top of my just looking at my ends and dusting them whenever I feel like I see a knot or a really dry, prone, strangly split end section. I'll trim it very lightly. You're not gonna notice it's gone. And this last tip, but mind you, I have tons of tips. I just feel like these are the top three. These are the three that if we can just start here, then we can see some progress. But anyways, for my last tip, it has to be our treatments. I feel like we're either skipping our treatments or not applying our treatments correctly. Now, I don't know what it is, but like I feel like as naturals, we're very obsessed with moisture and moisturizing our hair. Now, granted, yes, that does, you know, help with growth and help our ends and yada yada yada. We don't really focus on anything else, I feel like, and protein is also just as important. I've seen a major difference when I've started taking my protein treatment seriously, because as a fine natural, our hair is, like I said earlier, very prone to breakage, and part of that helps in keeping it strong and keeping it going is adding protein to our strands. Adding additional protein. This is probably a quick solution, but I guess the easiest way to start this is to have a deep conditioner that has protein already in it. I'll try to pop up some on the screen. I'll pop up one of my favorite ones. It's actually by Shea Moisture, and sometimes it's really hard to find, but I know Ulta definitely has it, and I can't remember the name, but I know it's in a blue bottle. But it's definitely a deep conditioner with a protein treatment, so it kind of gets it out the way all at once. Shea Moisture actually has a couple that are pretty good, and I know I need to like branch out and try new deep conditioners and protein treatments, but when something works, it's really hard for me to deviate. But you know, we'll experiment more this year. But if I don't want to combine my deep conditioner with a protein treatment, like buy one of those combo masks, I'll just do them separately. So I'll put some deep conditioners that I love on the screen. I know I love the TGIN deep conditioner. That's what I have right now. And I do want to try, I think it's Briogeo that has a deep conditioner that everyone keeps talking about, so I do want to try that. But if I don't, you know, if I just want a mask that's focused on moisture, I'll do a separate protein treatment. And honestly, the OG, a good Apogee treatment, has never steered me wrong. Their 2-minute protein treatment, love it. Been using it even before when I was relaxed, and it's still really great. You want to start with washing your hair, and I always wash my hair with the clarifying shampoo. Not always, but if I haven't washed it in a while, and because I work out so much, sometimes I just need that extra scrub. So I'll do a clarifying shampoo, then I'll follow it up, if needed, with a moisturizing shampoo. But then we go in with our protein treatment. I like to do that on freshly washed hair. I let that sit for however long it says, then I rinse that out. And I always will do a protein treatment first because I want to follow that protein up with a deep moisturizing conditioner. Protein can be drying if we're overdoing it or over abusing it, but I will always start with protein. We're always going to follow up with a deep conditioner. Okay, my camera cut off, but I think I know where we were. But let's just pause for a second to look at this twist out result. Like, y'all, that is so pretty. That is so pretty. So what was I saying? Oh yes, so deep conditioning after a protein treatment, and I feel like this is where we get a little lazy and where we mess up at. So with deep conditioners, we have to have heat, and I hate it. I hate that that's how it goes. I do not like, you know, adding any extra steps into my wash day. I'm the queen of let's keep this wash day as simple as possible. So how can we do that? That's me. That's me right here. Combat this laziness, I will get out of the shower with my deep conditioner in, covered in a shower cap, and I will get a heat cap, and I'll actually show you my heat cap. So here's my heat cap, and can you hear that? It's rice. So basically this is my heat cap. It has like a towel fabric inside and then a different design on the outside, and I got this from Hothead, and I got this sent to me years ago, and it still comes in clutch, especially for us lazy naturals. But basically you put it in the microwave for like 30 seconds, flip it for 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, something like that, whatever increments, and you just get it really nice and hot, and you just stick it on your head for however long, and boom. And I love it because I don't have to sit under a blow dryer. Now granted, I do think a blow dryer is a better option. I do think it'll probably really just have that constant heat on your hair with the deep conditioner and really help it out. So if you're not as lazy as me and you're more dedicated, please do the blow dryer method. Just sit under your blow dryer and just have it that way. But for me and my house, yeah, we doing the heat cap. That's been working for me, and honestly, there's science behind why our hair needs the extra heat. I won't get too deep into it, but you guys may or may not know, it all depends on your porosity. So I have low porosity hair. A lot of fine naturals may not, but if you do, this is especially for you. So as a low porosity girl, I need all the help I can get. My pores are, they will not open for nothing. Hair and moisture will sit on top and sit there and be there all day. So I need some help opening up my pores some more, just encouraging the moisture process, and that's with heat. Honestly, I feel like any porosity level probably should add heat to their routine, but what do I know? I'm only speaking for the low po girls, because that's what I am. But as a fine natural in general, don't skip out on your treatments, especially the protein and especially the deep conditioners. Okay guys, I am all done finally taking out all my twists. I will have to say this is one of my best twist styles, even though the twists were super old and I wasn't sure how it was gonna turn out, but it's decent. I can work with this for a few days. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know any tips down below that you think will help grow fine natural hair that I may have skipped or overlooked. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. I make hair and wellness videos on a weekly basis this year, all 2025, okay? Keep me accountable. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.